everyone, this is Gayle, and I thought I would finish my fish bracelet. After I told you I was going to make one, I got to thinking it would really be nice if you could see how I put it together. So I'm doing this as a separate video. And what I've done is I have lined up, this one only will hold 5, but I've lined up 5 tiles on a piece of the clear plastic so that I can pick it up. And then these are the 2 that I did the other day that I put the bead pins in. And I'm just going to set them aside for a minute and go ahead with the other 2 beads here. Now what I'm doing is I'm looking at these to see which ones I want to be on the outside and which ones I want to be on the inside. And I'm varying them. I think I want that to be on the inside, and these are a little out of shape. And I'll put that one on the outside and just try to line them up as even as you can. And then take a small knitting needle or a rod, or you can do this on toothpicks. There's different ways you can do this. And press these on here because we're going to make a little channel. I think what I'm going to do with mine, because my wrist is small, and I do have a small wrist, I have a hard time with bracelets. So I decided I was going to do, what's the word? Stretchy bracelets. And these tiles, I need about 8 inches, and these tiles are all about 1 inch. So that would be 7, so I think I'm going to have to use one of these. And I kind of chopped this one up a little bit, trying to get it apart. So I think I'm going to use maybe the bottom of this one. And since I already have the little grooves in them, I know where to put the knitting needles. Okay, and I don't know which top I want to use. Do I want to use the big one or the little fishes? If I use the little ones, I need a sharper blade if I'm going to be doing this. I need to, this is where the 2 pieces came together. And don't worry, this is not a sharp blade. I'm not going to hurt myself with this one. But I'm going to put this on here and press down because you want this channel to be in both halves of your tile. If it's only in the bottom half, then when it'll crack open. So I've got that. So that'll make 8 inches, and I can adjust later. So this one I'm just not going to, well, maybe I could use it if I can find another one that's about the same size. That one's about the same size. Now, as I'm pressing these together, I'm going to be misshaping them a little bit. So, I'm going to have to trim them up a little bit. So then I'm going to, let's see, these are the ones. I think I want that one on top. They're easier to put on and match up without the fish being on them. But those are the 2 that I had at the end of my other video. Some of these it doesn't really matter which one goes on the outside. Some of them are showing a little bit of black. Some of them are showing a little bit of white, and so it really doesn't matter. This is the one that went over that one, so I'll use this one. I think I'm going to leave that one just the way that one is. Now I can feel, when I'm pushing down on these, I can feel these rods through the clay, so I know that it's coming up through the this top tile. But we're going to put the little fish on top, so you're not going to know they're there. And I think this one, because this one is sort of misshapen, I'll just leave that one like that. And I'll leave that one like that. And I have the one left over because I kind of split the other two tiles. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some little slices from my little cane and try to keep them as thin as you can so that they'll blend into the other tile well. And I'm just going to slice. And it really doesn't matter which way they go, because you can turn it around this way and they can be swimming in the opposite direction. It's another good thing about tiles. I mean about canes. One, two, three, four, five. I figured I'd cut about 10. And look how much of this I've still got left. Plus the little stub. So this might be in one of my Destashes. And then I will get rid of this acrylic block. I will cut some of the big fish, although I do believe I will try to even it up a little bit. It seems like it's sort of a weird shape. So I'll cut maybe 5 of these. And again, look how much of this I've got left. It's about 4 to 5 inches. So I can see a cane destash coming soon. Let me just move these out of the way. The little ones, I'm just going to use my blade. And then come back and let's play on these tiles. Well, first off, I'm going to even them up a little bit. Try to even them up with the string, not the string, but where the wire is going to go. Oops. Cutting on this plastic is not very easy, but I want to be able to pick it up to put in the oven, and I didn't want it to stick on the tile while I'm pressing the little fish on. So let me get this one. I'll just move this one up. There, little fishies. And I will trim these about the same, I hope, or at least close. And so you can put this up against the one next to it and you know you're getting straight with that one anyway. And now let me see if I can straighten these up a little bit. And lay them up against here. So now I know they're all pretty much close to the same size. So now I'm going to go back, and I'm just going to, some of these that are sliced a little thicker, I'm going to just pinch a little bit. And I might have this fish going at an angle. And rather than try to use a blade, I'm going to use my needle, my X-Acto knife or craft knife, whatever you've got. I think X-Acto is like Kleenex. Everybody says, can I have a Kleenex? Well, Kleenex is a brand of tissues. And I really have had to train myself to say tissue instead of Kleenex. And it's the same way with the X-Acto. This happens to be an X-Acto knife, but not all craft knives are X-Acto knives. Okay, and let me put... Now these don't have to be next to, you know, the same. Alright, I think I'm going to put this towards the bottom. Let me make sure I get his tail on there. And then maybe put a little one swimming in the opposite direction up here. And if I don't trim this as I do them, I might forget and skip over one. That one didn't need a lot of trimming. And I'm going to do this one going in the opposite direction of those. Actually, I think I will put 3 on here. Make it a regular school of fish. Just make it your own. Do whatever that you want it to look like. If you want all big fish, use all big fish. If you want to use all little fish, use all little fish. This is your bracelet. So you can do it the way you like. So I've got 1 going up, 2 going straight. Let me do 1 going straight this way. And I'll put it up at the top. And maybe just 1 little fish. Look like Mommy and her baby. And I think I'll just do another one here in the middle. Just wanted to be sure that one stayed straight, so that was the only place I was going to cut. And let's see, I've got 2. I've only got 2 that's only little fish. So let me do another one with little fish. And we'll slant these coming this way. Wonder how many I can get on here. Think I can get 4? I think I'm going to try. Just make sure they all face the same way so they don't look like a mess. There, I got 4 on there. And they're smaller than these because I cut them from a different place in the cane. And I've still got 3 little pieces left. But I will do something with those later. So, okay, so now I've got these on here. I've got the fish on here. So what I think I'm going to do, what am I going to use for texture? I have this little tool that's got a little scoop on the end. I'm going to see how that works. Or I'll tell you what, something that you would probably have. When I say probably, you're more likely to have these than the other things I have. I'm going to use a large ball tool. When I say large, it's not large, but, you know, about the size of, goodness, I don't know what size that is. About 1/8 of an inch. And what I'm going to do is first off, I'm going to kind of blend in the edge of that, and then I'm going to also just put little dots on it to make it look like it's water. But that's a good way to blend your edge of your slices here, blend it onto the rest of the tile. And this is going to be a little rough looking tile. It's not going to be a fancy, pretty tile. But just make sure you texture the whole surface. There, can you see how that's all done? And this right here needs a little bit of texture. But there, see how the difference in this one, how complete that looks next to this one that looks like just a piece of clay on top of a piece of clay. But just push down with a ball tool if you have a ball tool, or if you don't, you know, a toothpick or anything that you can make some little texture with. Get creative. Look around and see what you've got. See what you've got that you can make texture with. Like this. This is a wheel off of a toy that I kept because I figured this little grooves in it would make good texture. So look, if you have children, look at their toys. If you don't have children, look in the kitchen. If you have a garage, look in the garage. Another thing that makes a really nice texture is a tiny Phillips head screwdriver. And don't forget to get these ends of the slice that's on top, even if it makes it uneven. In here, you can take your, now that they're stuck on the knitting needles, you can take something stiff like your blade and go back and forth and kind of even it up a little bit. So let me just continue, and if you're tired of watching, then please fast forward. I don't think I'm going to fast forward this because I'm just going to chat while I'm doing this. Make sure you get all the green places because all the green is water. I want to thank everybody that participated in my Polymer Cafe Destash. I sold almost all of my magazines. I have a few left. And what I'm going to do, because I'm already thinking another destash, I've come up with so many things that I can get rid of. Not get rid of. I've got so much of things. Like, I've got jars. Look at this. Jars of earring bindings. And I've got 4 jars of those. No, 3 jars. You know, I've just got so much of everything, and I don't need all of that. So I've got lots of things that I want to destash, and maybe things that you could use, especially if any of you want to make jewelry. I'm not a big jewelry person. I don't wear a lot of jewelry. I've never been interested in making jewelry. And I'm losing all of my light in here. I know it probably looks okay to you, but it's getting dark. So I may have to finish this tomorrow. Of course, to you it will only be a few seconds. I like the looks of that. Oh, and I'm thinking stickles. Oh boy, I could really go crazy with this. But look at the difference. Let me just zoom in a little bit. Look at the difference in the textured tiles and the plain tiles. Don't these look so much better? I hope you think so. Because if you don't, I'm in trouble. Because I'm assuming you're going to like this. And I know not everybody will. I'm still getting lots of thumbs down, which I wish instead of putting thumbs down, they would just not comment at all. Because your thumbs down do affect your standing on Google, which is, I mean, YouTube is a Google app. And it not only hurts my feelings, but it also hurts my standing on YouTube. So if you don't like this, please don't do a thumbs down. Just don't comment and don't watch anymore. You know, I am an artist, and as an artist, I know that not everybody, I mean, I'm realistic. I know not everybody is going to like everything I do. But then I have you guys that are so supportive and so encouraging. You're always lifting me up just when I need it the most. And that makes all of this worthwhile. So the reason I'm trying to get this finished is because the next step is to bake this, and that would be the logical place to make a break in the video. So that's what I'm going to do. I've just about finished here. So I'm going to take the back side of my blade and just even up these edges And I'm going to have to flip them over because of the knitting needles. I'm only going halfway. Let me see, what is this? It's just a little piece of clay that fell down in there. But turning them over also helps you get an idea of what it looks like. Actually, I think I'm okay with that one. And this one, let me just flip it around. And you can even square up the edges if you want them a little bit straighter. Just press with your blade. Get rid of any bumps that you may have made by making the... But I think they look okay. Still, this one's a little bit wonky. I think I need to get to the back with this one. There. So I am going to take these off of the plastic, put them on a piece of cardstock, and I'm going to bake these in the oven at 275. And I'm going to bake them for an hour because I want to make sure they stay nice and strong. And then I will be back and we will finish these up. I will decorate them and then put them on an elastic string. So everybody, I will be back shortly. Guys, I'm back. And my tiles are all baked, and I'm looking to see if I have some pliers here, and I do. But they're all baked. They're still warm, and I wanted to show you this, that while they're still warm is when you need to take just give your rods a twist. Make sure they're loose from all three, and then just pull your rod out. I can't tell if this is twisting or not, because this is a smooth plier. I probably should have brought, let me see what else I've got here. I've got this one, has some teeth in it. Just make sure that it turns so that it will loosen. Still can't tell if it's turning, but so I'm just going to pull. And just pull slowly, because the clay is warm, and because it's warm, it will still be flexible and you don't want to bend it. Now, see, that way I know all three have been loosened. And just pull it out. Okay, so there's 3 of our tiles. And then we'll do the same with this one. This one won't be quite so easy to take off because there's 5 tiles. But I think it will still work. Just going to come out slowly, which is fine. Let me move my well, actually I'll leave my index card there so you don't have to look at that glare. In order to have a work surface that is easy to work on, it needs to be slick. But being slick also means that it will glare with the lights, and you got to have light, so I'm trying to find a happy medium. I'm just making sure all of these are loose. Actually, I think I'm going to push down on this to get it all the way down. Probably should have done them one at a time instead of two like I was doing. You can pull these off one at a time. And this one I have nothing to hold on to, so I'm going to have to use my pliers again. There we go. So we are done with the four little, where did they go? There they go. I need to show you what I'm using here for my tools, and I'm absolutely loving it. I think I got it at Walmart. But it is a ice cube tray, one that makes these little long ice cubes. But it is perfect for tools. Look at that. And it doesn't take up a lot of space, and I am really loving this. So, okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take these edges, because it's a little rough, and I'm just going to, well, I'll probably need to water this down. I don't want any dust. Just, you're not doing a big sanding, you're just kind of smoothing these cut edges a little bit. Let me just have a paper towel here. You can see it doesn't look like you're doing much, but see the green that's coming off? And it just smooths these inside edges a little bit so they won't catch when you're putting your cord in. And of course I forgot to bring my cord over here and my beads. So after I do this, I will have to pause the camera while I go get my beads and my stretchy cord. And that's going to be all that I'm going to do. And let me just wipe this off so I don't get any water on anything. And I will wash this when I'm finished. Actually, what I think I'll do, since I need to stop the camera anyway, I am going to run and rinse off my sponge and get my stretchy cord and my beads, and we will finish this bracelet. Be right back. Okay, so I am back, and I just want to get my fish lined up, not in the way they're going to go, but just lined up in the direction that they will be sitting there. And I've mentioned that I was thinking about adding some stickles. And I've mentioned stickles before. And I know a lot of you have never heard of stickles. But stickles is I didn't wipe the ground up stuff off of these tiles. Stickles is a form of glitter glue that I do know is compatible with polymer clay after it's baked. You don't want to bake it with the clay, but you can put it on your polymer clay after it's baked. And where did I put my stickles? Don't freak out. These are not all stickles. this row and this row are stickles. The rest are Lumiere paints, and I've got them in this holder that holds them upside down so that everything stays in the cap so it's easier to get out. But these are clear, different thicknesses of glitter in the glue, these here. And then these back here are colors. And I've got some green, and I've got some blue. And I might use those. I'm just going to set them back over here. I don't have a piece that's baked, but I'm going to take a piece of scrap and just see what the green looks like on here. I probably ought to wipe this off because I got clay on it. And I'm going to try the blue and see what that looks like. And if either one of these look good, I will probably use them. And if not, oh, this one got clogged. But I just put a dab on, and then I take my finger and go around it. And let me see how these look. Actually, they both look good. Can you see those? Now, this is on raw clay. I think I might add them because this is going to be textured. And I got some of that sludge on the top of this one. These are textured. So I think I'm going to use the green and blue on the green here. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of this wax paper and squirt some out in a little dab. And let me use my finger to rub it on the green areas. It just makes it look a little bit more like water. And you don't want to get the colors on the fish because the fish is white. So you've got to be real careful. I don't know how this would do with a brush. Let me try. Let me find a cheap brush. See how this will do with a brush. It goes on okay. Just always use my finger. But this way you can get it closer. This is just going to add a little bit of interest to the water. I like that. See, it's just a very, very fine glitter. And just be careful on these little areas where you go between fish. But this is really making this green color look like water. And I got a little bit on that fish. All you got to do is take your finger and just swipe it off. But these stickles, I think I got some at Hobby Lobby. I got some at Michael's. And they're in the scrapbooking section. Or in places where you might find embossing powders or things like that. I got something on that brush. You know, similar products like that. It depends. In Michael's, they were with the glitters and the little mini beads. You know, those little micro beads. they were in the same place, and at Hobby Lobby they were with the scrapbooking, like the Tim Holtz things like that. So they could be, I mean, I don't know where you'll find them. They could be anywhere, but I love them, and I especially like the clear. I use the clear a lot. And they have one called, let's see, this one is called Crystal, which I don't think you can see the colors. The glitter in that is more like a mylar. It's got that greenish tint. Then there's one called Diamond, and that's a little bit finer, and it's a different type of mylar. This one, when it glitters, it shines with a pink and green. And that's another Diamond. And this one is Stardust. This is the finest one. And it's like a white glitter in there. But I love all three of them. I use them all the time. And I never heard of them until I started doing some paper crafting. And then I found somebody that used them with polymer clay doing tiles. So I tried them, and they seemed to work just fine. So they seem very compatible with polymer clay. After it's baked. I emphasize that it's after it's baked. But I think this just adds a little bit of bling to your tiles. I also wanted to address something that came to my attention. Remember, I started this yesterday, but evidently somebody is very upset because I am using a design by another clay artist, Mo Clay. Her name is Monica Resta, and she's in Italy. And I have communicated with her quite a bit when it comes to, because I've used a few of her designs, just because she does them so simply, and I don't know what kind of clay she uses. Her clay is always so soft. But she does very quick little tutorials twice a week. They're awesome. Check her out if you don't already. But I contacted her a while back and asked her if I could use some things that she had designed, and I told her I would be putting my own spin on it, and she said she would be honored for me to use her designs, and she said anytime, so I've taken that to mean anytime. And I mentioned in my original video where I did the little fish that this was inspired by her. I've given her the credit in the comments, but somebody got on Facebook and was very irate because, and it was, maybe I'm just a little sensitive, but this person was irate because another clay artist had been copied. I don't know that it was me. But those that know me know I would never do anything that would harm anybody else. And I responded, it was a general question. The girl was wanting to know about how to handle a situation when you see one artist copying something that another artist had done. And I just replied that I don't copy another artist or use their designs without checking with them first. It may have been totally about somebody else, but you know, my conscience, I just don't want to do anything to hurt anybody's feelings. And I sent Monica an email. I haven't heard back from her. But I sent Monica an email explaining what I had done, and that maybe I should have checked with her before I, you know, on each thing. There's very few times that I will use another artist's design. I usually try to do it myself. But I just fell in love with this little fish. And she had done this fish, oh, I don't know, a year or so ago, maybe even more than that. And since she had said that she had no problem with me using her designs, I went ahead and used it. Plus, I did mention that this was her design originally. But I just don't want anybody to think that I am deliberately going out and stealing other people's things, their designs, any more than I would want somebody to take one of my designs and go out and copy it. Now, if I were doing this for money, it would be entirely different. I would never charge money for something that I learned from somebody else. But I feel like once you put it out on the internet, it's kind of a free game, because you have no control over who uses it and what they do with it. I at least did have the courtesy to contact Monica and let her know what asking her approval for what I was doing. And like I said, she was fine with it. So hopefully nobody is going to misconstrue anything that I've done. I'm going to put her name for inspiration in this video also in the description. So that people will know that this was originally her design. At least the fish. The rest of it I had already pretty much figured out for myself. Matter of fact, I had another fish that I was going to show you, but I was looking for color inspirations on YouTube and came across this one that I had saved because I loved it when I saw it the first time. And you know me and black and white. I love black and white. So instead of showing you the other fish, I think this one is much cuter. What I could have done it in color instead of the black and white. But again, I love black and white. I love this. And I really like it with the stickles. Let me get rid of my stickles. And this is going to have glue on it, so I'm probably going to end up having to throw this brush away because I do have some water here. Stickles are water soluble. Oops. Let me see if I can just get as much of the glue out of this as I can, and we'll see what happens to this brush when it dries. But it's going to take a minute for those to dry. Let me get a clean paper towel. I have to have my paper towels. And while we're waiting, and I'm going to throw this away because I don't want stickles on raw clay, I wanted to show you something else I thought about. And I mentioned these the other day because I told you I had jewelry things. These are some earring findings that I got. Again, I know I keep talking about Donna Cato, but I got some from her and I absolutely love them. And you've probably seen where I did, like on the black and white cane, that retro cane where it was the black and white circles inside of circles. I believe I made a pair on there, but let me show you. Of course, I have these Kemper cutters, and I'm going to just find a piece of scrap. I'm saving these for something else. And we'll see if I can find a piece of scrap, like the one I just put stickles all over. And I don't want to run these through the pasta machine because I don't want to ruin the swirls that are in there, but I really don't see any flat pieces. So I may end up having to use these. But what I would do is find a circle cutter. Now this is a Kemper cutter, has the little plunger on it. These Kemper cutters are, I've had them for years, and I keep adding to my collection because they're you can get a shape, and this is sort of a medium shape, a medium size, and you can get very tiny ones all the way up to like an inch. And they come, you can get them in sets, you can buy them individually, but if you want anything, if you don't have any cutters and you like to use these, you can get them at polymerclayplay.com, and I will put that link in the description below. She sells these in just about every shape and color and set that you can, not color, but every size and shape and set that you can purchase. So check her out. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch 4 circles. This one will fit inside of this finding. It's with a little bit of space, so I need extra clay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 layers and pinch off the excess. But I'm going to take one and I'm going to press it in here in the center and press it down to where it gets up underneath. There's a little tiny lip here. But you can press that and it gets up under that lip. So now this clay, once it's baked, will not come out. And then I'll take a second one and put it on top and try to center it. And I'm going to press the edges down to make it sort of a little bit of a dome. And just keep pressing with your fingers to get your dome formed. And you can take a needle tool or any kind of little sharp tool and just go around the edge of this to get the excess that's going to come over the outside of your finding. Well, the needle tool isn't going to work very well. Let me try another tool. Let me see. I've got so many tools. Let me try this one. And it's not just polymer clay tools. You know, I'm one of these women that love to go into Home Depot. But I just want to get the excess clay from off of the metal. I don't want to see clay on the metal. And I probably shouldn't try to do this on camera. So I'm not gonna, I'll finish that part later. And then I thought what I would do is put one little fish on this and do the same thing I did maybe with a smaller ball. This one isn't quite as big as the other one. And just kind of blend this in. And then after you blend it in, just use your ball tool to texture. And you can make a pair of earrings to match your bracelet. You could take one of your larger fish, like this was one of the larger ones before I reduced it. You could take that and make it into a pendant. You can make a whole jewelry set out of this little cane. But I just want to, try rolling right there because it's kind of, I don't have enough clay to push. And then just take the ball tool and just make little divots. Make little divots. And you can take this and you can sit it down in some baking soda to bake, or you can take it and put a rod through it, something metal, and just let it and bake it this way while it's hanging from a rod. But any way that you wanted to bake this, and then do the same thing with the stickles, and then you'll have a matching pair of earrings. So since I've got the clay cut, let me go ahead and do the other one, so just in case you missed part of that. You cut your 2 circles. That one looks kind of pretty. I might put that on top. Put this inside. Try to center it. Because right here there's a little bit of a lip. It goes up underneath that metal. And just start pressing and press that clay up under that lip. And you don't have to do this with a fish cane. You can, like I said, I've made them with, remember my blue basket weave cane? I made them with the blue basket weave. I've made them with the black and white that I mentioned earlier. Okay, I'm going to line this up so that the texture, the water, is going to be running sideways. And press it on. And then use your fingers to form it into a dome. And you can see this is going over the edge just a little bit. Maybe you could even use your fingernail just to take this little bit of clay off, or you could wait till it's baked. Nah, I wouldn't do that. It might scratch your finding. But just take a finger or your thumb and just rub around the outside to wipe the clay off of the metal, like right there. And then I'm going to take this little fish and have him go in the opposite direction than the other one. See, this one faced that way because we want our earrings to not face the same direction. Stick him on there. And then use your ball tool. And in these places where there's not a lot of clay, you can just kind of roll to just kind of even up this clay, the difference in the level of your clay. And then, I want to make sure I use the one with the largest. Just use your ball tool or your toothpick or anything you've got that can make either waves or divots or whatever. And just remember to check in all the little places. So there is a pair of fish earrings to go with the fish bracelet. So I'm going to bake those and put some stickles on there. Let me see if these are dry. Not quite. Almost. And I may be able to work with it anyway. So let me show you what I'm going to be using. I use, first of all, there's different types of stretchy cord. You can buy this elastic cord. This one says beading cord elastic. Beading cord elastic, I guess. And that is in black. Don't have a clue where I got this. But this is beading elastic. This I did get at Walmart. It is in the sewing section, and it's by Dritz, D-R-I-T-Z, and it says beading cord elastic. Now they had regular elastic cord and they had beading cord elastic. You can use that. Or if you want to go to the craft store, I have bought this and I've been very happy with it. This is made by Doris, which is a popular jewelry maker or jewelry findings maker. I've got stickles all over my fingers. And it comes in different thicknesses. This is the 1 millimeter, and that's what I try to get for bracelets that will probably need to. It's strong, you know, it'll stretch good, but yet it's strong. They've got a 0.8 and a 0.5, I believe. And I have had that tear on me before. So this is what I'm going to be using today. And let me go ahead and cut this. There's going to be 2 sides. Remember, and I'm going to do extra. And I'm going to cut this because it's 2 separate pieces. So this is more than enough, but this way I'll have something to yank on. And what you do with this before you get started is take it and stretch it. Stretch it as far as you can so that it kind of pre-stretches the cord. And this is both of them, so you can do them both at the same time. The reason you do that is there is some give. When you start stretching this, it may not come all the way back in. So if you don't stretch it before you put it on your bracelet, then what's going to happen is you're going to stretch it as you wear it, and then you have a bracelet that kind of sags, and you get spaces between your beads. So always cut it to size and then stretch it really good. Give it good yanks. And let me find where this end goes, or I will have stretchy cord all over my drawer. Now the next thing I need to do is choose my beads. And this is where I struggle. I told you I have beads. I have got beads you would not believe. I've got these beads, which are just little glass beads. And this one looks like it's very close in color to this. The blue, I think, is too blue. The crystal, I just don't think will work well. This green and blue are just too bright, so I eliminate those. These are some white ones, so they would look good. Then I've got crystals. And these are just some colors I pulled out that I thought might go with this. This is a clear with a gold. I don't know what it is. It's sort of like the, oh shoot, what do they call the AB? It's sort of like an AB, the Aurora Borealis, that you can get in different kinds of beads, just like these. These are black, and they shine with purples and blues, and this is white that shines with gold. But I don't think those will work well either. This green, I believe, is a little bit too light. I was hoping it would... I don't know. Let me take these out. Take a few of those out and see what those look like. I'm kind of thinking these. I didn't want to go monochromatic, but I kind of like those colors. So I think I'm going to go with these beads. And what do you want, Pink? Pink has come to visit me. Hope that doesn't mean she needs to go outside, which it probably does. And let me go ahead and do that. Let me let the dogs out for a few minutes and give these stickles a few more minutes to dry. And I will be back and we will put this bracelet together. Okay, everybody, I'm back, and I don't understand why dogs don't understand schedules or being busy. They have their own agenda. But anyway, I have poured out some of these little beads here onto this. Actually, it's a fun foam texture thing that I use for texture, as a matter of fact. I just something to keep them from rolling like they would if they were on this tile. So I know you probably don't have these unless you're a jewelry maker, but this is a little spring clip that you use when you're making jewelry to hold the end of whatever you're doing so that you can thread your beads without them falling off on the other end. Now, you could use a clothespin, you could use a paper clip, you could tie a knot in it, anything that you want to do to kind of secure it so that you can come from, won't have to worry about the beads falling off each end. And I'm just going to start stringing. I'm going to put one bead and this, and then I'll put another bead, and since that's little fish, I'll go with a big fish, and just push it through. Now you can work on both sides at the same time. I usually don't, but there's nothing wrong with doing it that way. If you wanted to do, string your both holes at the same time. And this is where I'll stop and look, and I do kind of like the look of this blue on here. So I will, let's see. Let me lay these down. They go that way. Alright, so I want to go in the opposite direction of this. So why don't this is upside down. I'll do this one. The only reason you can tell what's the upside and the downside is this side's got the mouth on it, and it would look kind of funny if you had a mouth on top of his head. So, and a bead. And now I will do like these two fish, the two little ones. And a bead. And let's do this fish that's on a slant. But anyway, I love this bracelet. Like I said, I've got fish on the brain right now. Now, let's see. I'll go ahead and use this one. And a bead. Almost forgot my bead. Don't forget your bead. Now, I need mine to be about 8 inches. Don't want to mess up my earrings. Let me move those over here on my baking table. Move this up a little bit, and I can lay this here. And so far, this is 7 inches. So I only need one more. I don't want to put this down here because it'll be next to this one here. So why don't I pull this one off and put the one with the 4 on here. And then the bead. Whoops. Having a hard time holding on to these sometimes. And then I will use this one, I believe. Now I don't need a bead on this end because there's a bead on this end. And I'm going to tie these together, but let me just measure again. That's going to be right at 8 inches. So I'm hoping that's going to work. And I probably should have gotten another, actually I pulled my little kit out here. Get another one of these to put down here on the end to keep this one from coming off. I'm going to leave a little space so that I'll have some room to bend and play. My dog just came in here and shook. So I'm going to take the second cord, and I'm also going to put this in the same holder. You can use as many strings as you have slots in the spring. That's all this is a spring with a holder on it. There, so now that's holding that, and let me start again with the bead and then put it through the second hole. One good thing I like about this particular method is because the edges are the same color as everything else, and this was supposed to look like water, and that's kind of striated. It looks like water also. You don't have to worry about what the edges of the bead look like. See, this is one reason I like to leave a little bit of slack in the cord so that I can kind of pick these up and see what I'm doing. And we tighten it up at the end. And we are almost done. So I'd love for you guys to post, if you make a bracelet, I'd love to see the pictures. If you would post a picture on my Facebook page, which is in the description below, please press show more, and you'll have my Facebook page. And any other information you might want, like my email. If you'd rather just email it to me, I would just love to see what you guys do. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to leave that clip on that cord, and I'm going to remove this clip, this cord from this clip. This is the bottom one. I'm leaving the others secured because we don't want to lose anything. I'm going to turn them over, and I'm going to tie a knot, maybe. tie a knot and pull it tight, tight, tight. And then make sure you do a square knot or a jeweler's knot. You know, if you know about a jeweler's knot, when you're doing a square knot, you go over, you loop over. A jeweler's knot, you loop over twice. And that just kind of gives you a bigger knot. And I don't know if that's going to fit inside. I don't think it's going to fit in the hole. Let me pull that jeweler's knot out before I pull it too tight. Because I'd like to pull the knot into the hole in the bead. I can't see what I'm doing. Let me get my needle tool, because I can't grab this elastic cord. There. Okay, that's one tied once, and I'm just going to loop over one time to tie the other half of the knot. This is a square knot, and then just pull it, whoops, tight, and I broke it, which is what I was hoping would not happen. That's okay, I'll fix it. I think I pricked it with the needle tool, and there was a bead that came off. I'm not sure where it went. This may be it, or may not. And let me see, this one, because I need to pull this out on this side. Sorry about that. Pull tight, but don't pull it to where it's going to break. Don't do like I did. So you pull it tight into a square knot. Now if you use a thinner elastic cord, your cord will be a little bit easier. What I like to do is to pull the knot into the hole of the bead. But before I do that, I like to put a little dot, I mean just a tiny little dot of super glue. Now this is the Loctite super glue gel, which has been my favorite. And this one is just about empty, but hopefully there's enough to put a little dot of gel. Please come out. Oh, there it is. Just a little dot of gel on the knot, which will kind of keep it from coming loose. Trim the ends pretty short. Leave maybe not even 1/4 of an inch, maybe 3/16 of an inch of cord, because you've got the super glue now to hold it together. And from the other end of the bead, pull the knot inside until you can't see. And this isn't going through. It may not be, it might be too, the holes may not be big enough. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to go ahead and tie the other half. Do the same thing. Let me pull this through a little bit so I have a little bit more to work with. Left over right. Right over left. Gives you a square knot, and pull it tight. How did that happen? Somehow that bead got tied up in the knot. I have never had that happen before. that loose. I'm not going to use my needle tool. Oh, I see what happened. When I tied my knot, the bead flipped over. Okay. Make sure your bead stays on one side or the other of your knot. Because that's what happened. While I was tying it, it flipped over. Pull it tight. Add a little spot of super glue. It might be I can pull it inside these glass beads if the knot is too big to go into the polymer clay. I can't believe that little bit of time and this thing's dried. Of course, it is called super glue. So just make sure you do not put it on your bead, just on the knot. Did I just put it on the other one? Just want to make sure I get some glue on this knot. I'm just going to let that sit for a minute. Make sure it dries before I go pulling on it too hard. But I love this glue. It's a gel. It's easier to control. You can put just a little dab somewhere. And this one's about gone, but I've got another one up here. But now that the glue is on there, we can trim these really, really short. Let me see. Wonder if I can pull it through the hole in the glass bead. If not, after you're sure the super glue is dry, you can trim this really short. But there you go. Let me turn it this way. That's how I would wear it. And the 8 inches is just perfect. It's not real tight, but yet it's stretchy enough that it goes over my hands. And I love this bracelet. I really do. And I'm not concerned about these. Like I said, I'm going to let the super glue dry, and if I can't get it inside the hole, I'm just going to trim off the little legs, and that will be it. And then I'll have earrings to match when I get those baked. And there we go. And I've still got one left. This could be the pendant. Could do that. I could take this and put it in some, what color would I do? I don't want to use, I could use black since this has got black in it. I could set this on some black, set it in some black and surround it with black and cut it into a pendant shape and hang it from a chain, and then I will have the necklace, the bracelet, and the earrings. What a cool idea. So I hope you like that. I really do. I've had so much fun with this cane, and I've got some of this left. And like I said, I may include some of this in my Destash because I'll never use all of this. I will include several things. I've got, like I said, the earrings. This is the jar that I took those two from. You know, I'll never use all these earrings. I've got them in 3 different sizes. These are big, big ones. And these are little ones. So I'll probably put some of those in little baggies and use those. But I will decide that Let me see. I have some of my earrings right here, as a matter of fact. There's my black and white. See that one? Remember that cane? And here's the basket weave. This is the large size. I'm going to put my basket weave in there. Actually, it was the large size of the black and white, and I believe this is the small size. That's the small. But what I like about them is it has this lever back. So you don't have to worry about losing your earrings. It's got the lever back. But I love those. And I think those are the only two that I made that I have here. But these are things that I'll be putting in my Destash. Here's a letter opener made out of the black and white cane. I have a purse holder made from the black and white cane. That I still use mine. I've got one I've had in my purse for about 3 years and it still works. Oh, this was the top of a pill bottle. Is it the same as this? Yeah. And it broke. So I'm going to pop this out and glue it on top of another one. This is that pebble cane that I did. And this is a pill box. I have the... I don't know why I'm showing you all this now, except it just happens to be right here. This is another purse holder done in the basket weave cane. So these are the types of things that I'm going to be putting in my Destash of things that I've made. I've got stuff just piling up. And it's a shame. Most of these things I will never use, and it's a shame to just let it sit here. So I'm going to let some of you guys have it when I get to that point, once I get it organized. But in the meantime, make yourself a fish cane and make something out of it. You know, you could put these little fish on you could cover a vase and have these little fish floating around on your vase. There are just so many things you could do with this. So I will be back soon with another project. Enjoy. Keep on playing. Bye-bye.